Hello everyone, we move on to question number 85. Now question 85 follows from 84 in that they are of the same type. We are given two statements that we must analyze and then we must see whether the two conclusions which are also given to us follow from the two statements that have been given. So what I mean basically is, for example, in this question, we have been given these two statements. I must look at these statements and understand that if you are told only these two statements, can you, without a doubt, be sure that these two statements are also true? So basically, I'm trying to say, do these two follow from the two above them? So in these type of questions, one very common thing is that these statements may not always make rational sense. For example, here it's given that all cats are dogs. Of course, this isn't true, but for the sake of a logical reasoning exercise, we must take the two statements given to us to be absolutely true and then decide that given these two statements, can I conclude that these two statements also make sense? So this is our job. So let's quickly read the sum given to us. The sum says that in each question below, you are given two statements followed by two conclusions numbered 1 and 2. You have to take the two given statements to be true even if they seem to be at variance from commonly known facts, which is what I just explained, and then decide which of the given conclusions logically follow from the two given statements, disregarding commonly known facts. So let's get on with the question. We have been given two statements that says that all cats are dogs and all foxes are dogs, and we have two conclusions that say some foxes are cats and no fox is a cat. The options given to us is whether only the first conclusion can be derived or the second conclusion only can be derived from the given statements. Option C says that okay, even one makes sense and even two makes sense. The last one says that no, even one doesn't make sense, neither does two make sense. So basically we have to understand whether only one can be derived from the statements, only two can be derived from the statements, both of them could be derived from the statements, or neither of them can be derived from the statements. Now, as I've told you before, these sentences are tricky, and by far this is the one which confuses students the most. So in such questions, the key to solving these sums, as I have already mentioned, is to draw a Venn diagram. So let's quickly draw a Venn diagram. Now in this question, the answer comes out to be option C, which is that either one or two can be concluded from the statements given to us. Let's quickly see how to solve this sum. So I said we have to draw a Venn diagram. We have to draw the Venn diagram, so we look at the first statement. The first statement says that all cats are dogs. So how do you draw a Venn diagram? Well, in this case, the first thing we must think about is cats. So we draw a group, that is, we draw a circle which represents the group cats. Now, all of these cats are dogs, and therefore cats must be a subset of a bigger group which is dogs. So now you can see from this diagram whether it's correct or not. Well, since all cats are dogs, cats must be in a circle which is smaller than the circle of dogs, where dogs make a bigger group. So cat is a subset of the group of dogs. So that is why cats are drawn inside dogs. Be careful that this happens only when you see the word all. When all of something belongs to something else, then that something is inside that bigger group. And this can only be done when you see the word all. So let us confirm once again. Are all cats dogs? Yes, because every cat inside this circle is also part of this bigger circle which represents dogs. But are all dogs cats? Absolutely not, because you see there are some dogs in all this space which don't lie in the circle of cats, and this is exactly right. So this is how you draw a Venn diagram of the first part of the sum, where all cats belong to this group of dogs. Now let's look at the statement 2. The statement 2 says that all foxes are dogs. Now comes the tricky part. Now all foxes are dogs. I already told you, whenever you see this word all, it means that you must draw the entire subgroup of foxes inside this big circle of dogs. So I can draw this group of foxes inside this big circle of dogs, but I have two options. I can draw this circle inside this bigger circle in two ways. In the first case, I can draw this by intersecting with my already drawn cat circle, or I can draw this by not intersecting it. So there are two ways to accommodate this second statement. I have this big group of dogs again, And inside that they have said that I have to also draw this small group of foxes, and because all foxes are dogs, the entire circle must lie in the circle of dogs. But they have not said whether the foxes or the cats must overlap or not, and therefore I am left with two options, where one I can draw it by intersecting with the cat group, or the other I can draw it without intersecting. So basically both of them must be correct, because with the given information either of them can follow. Now if I look at the first case where these two intersect and I try to see whether the conclusions given to us follow. The first conclusion says that some foxes are cats, and I look at my diagram. Indeed, yes, there is a portion of foxes and cats that overlap, and therefore some foxes are indeed cats, and therefore the first conclusion definitely follows. Does the second conclusion follow? No fox is a cat? Well, definitely it cannot follow, because certainly some foxes are cats. So how can it be that no fox is a cat? And therefore the second conclusion doesn't follow. So if I look at the first case, which is possible, I see that the conclusion 1 follows, but conclusion 2 doesn't follow. But now if I look at the second case where they don't intersect, then I look at the conclusion, some foxes are cats. No, definitely not. There is no intersection between foxes and cats, and therefore some foxes are not cats. So the first conclusion does not follow. But what about the second conclusion? The second conclusion says that no fox is a cat, which is true because these two circles are not intersecting. There is no overlap. So in the first case, only conclusion 1 follows, and in the second case, only conclusion 2 follows. But both these cases are possible, and therefore the answer to this question is that it's either 1 or 2. So the answer to this question is either 1 follows or 2 follows. So I hope you understood how you can make use of the idea of a Venn diagram. Please be careful to use the correct type of Venn diagram. When you see all, the entire circle goes into a bigger circle. When you see some, then you have to overlap the two subgroups. I hope you will keep these hints in mind. I hope you've understood the sum. Thank you for watching.